What if everything you thought you knew about the British royal family just changed overnight? 3 weeks before Prince William made his first major public appearance as king, something happened that barely registered in the press. Queen Camilla arrived alone at a state reception at Buckingham Palace. No explanation, no Charles. The official statement referred to a scheduling conflict, but sources close to the palace describe it differently. King Charles, according to those with knowledge of his condition, was too unwell to appear in public. And the decision was made at the highest levels that no announcement would be made. That moment, largely overlooked by royal watchers, was the starting gun for everything that followed. Because when William finally stepped into the room as king, the world realized something had already shifted. Quietly, deliberately, without asking anyone's permission. This is the story the palace did not prepare a statement for. Here's what happened. This is not just a story about a royal event. It is a story about a transfer of power unlike anything the British monarchy has navigated in modern history. Not a coronation, not an abdication. A quiet, calculated repositioning of authority by a man who has spent years waiting for exactly this moment. And the fallout has landed hardest on the people who believed they had secured their place in the new order, the family Camilla built her life around. This is not palace gossip. This is the shape of the monarchy for the next 50 years. Today, we are covering 4 things. First, the state of King Charles's health and what it has quietly accelerated behind closed doors. Second, what William actually did at his first appearance as king, and why the details that seem small are anything but. Third, the reaction from Camilla's inner circle and what that reaction reveals about the new balance of power. And fourth, the story that insiders have been sitting on for months, the transition protocol, and the one person who approved it. Let's get into it. King Charles's health and the accelerating timeline. King Charles III was diagnosed with cancer in early 2024. The palace confirmed the diagnosis but declined to specify the type. What followed was a carefully managed communication strategy, limited public appearances, gradual delegation of duties, and the steady, almost imperceptible elevation of Prince William and Princess Catherine in the institution's public-facing activities. Royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams, speaking to the Daily Mail in late 2025, described the situation plainly. "The question is no longer whether William steps up," Fitzwilliams said. "The question is how fast and how much of what was Charles's world survives the transition." By the beginning of 2026, insiders close to Buckingham Palace were describing Charles's public schedule as a fraction of what it had been 18 months prior. There is real emotional weight in what Charles is navigating. He waited longer than any heir in British history to take the throne. That he may now be watching the torch pass to his son before he has completed his own reign is not a minor personal reality. It is a profound one. Yet, William has not waited for any formal transfer, and those who have watched him most closely say that is entirely intentional. William and Camilla, a decade of managed distance. It is worth understanding the full context of William's relationship with Camilla before examining what happened at that event. By every account, their dynamic has been polite, professional, and carefully bounded. When Charles and Camilla married in April 2005, William attended the civil ceremony. That was a meaningful gesture. But royal biographers, including Penny Junor, whose work on both Charles and William has been widely cited in royal coverage, have consistently noted that William's deepest loyalties were never in doubt. They belonged to his mother's memory first, and to the institution second. What has changed is the context. Camilla is no longer simply the woman who married William's father. She is Queen Consort, and her family, particularly her son Tom Parker Bowles and her daughter Laura Lopes, had built a visible proximity to palace life throughout Charles's reign. An insider with knowledge of senior royal discussions told Closer Weekly in early 2026 that William's views on that proximity had hardened considerably. "He has nothing personal against them," the source said. But he has always believed the line between the royal family and Camilla's extended family needed to be clearer. Under Charles, that line was blurry. That blurriness, insiders say, is exactly what William set out to address. The evening itself, what William did and what he did not do. The event in question was a formal reception at which William appeared as king for the first time in an official capacity. In previous years, such occasions followed a predictable structure. The monarch and consort enter in together, the extended family positioned in support, and Camilla's children included as part of the broader royal social circle. None of that happened. William arrived with Princess Catherine. Their positioning in the room was noted by multiple attendees as deliberate, not flanking an older generation, not standing in the second row. Central from the moment they arrived. According to a source who attended the reception, speaking to Hello magazine, the shift in atmosphere was immediate. It was clear this was not a transitional moment, the source said. It was a completed one. But the detail that circulated most intensely through palace circles was a smaller one. Tom Parker Bowles was not on the guest list. Neither was Laura Lopes. No announcement, no explanation, simply absent. This is not just a question of event protocol. For two individuals who had been present at palace occasions throughout Charles's reign, their absence from William's first appearance as king sent a signal that required no words. The second notable detail came in William's brief address to the room. When he mentioned Charles, he did not say His Majesty or the King. He said, "My father," once, deliberately. A source present at the event, cited by Radar Online, described the word choice as carefully considered. He knows exactly what he says and what he doesn't say. That phrase was not an accident. The response that revealed everything. Within 48 hours of the event, Tom Parker Bowles published a carefully worded statement on social media. It named nothing directly. It referenced no event. But those familiar with the dynamics involved understood it immediately. Sources close to Camilla described the statement as a signal of deep frustration. Tom is protective of his mother, one insider told OK magazine. What he posted was restrained. What he felt was not. There is genuine human complexity in Camilla's position. She worked for years to earn her standing within the institution, navigating public skepticism and persistent criticism with patience and considerable restraint. To find the landscape shifting around her, not because of anything she has done, but simply because the next generation has arrived and drawn its own lines, is not a straightforward thing. An insider described her private response as closer to resignation than anger. She understands William, the source told Closer Weekly. She always has. That may be the hardest part. He has not done anything wrong. He has simply made clear what was never in doubt. The phrase that kept surfacing in conversations among those who know the situation was quiet and specific. William never asked for permission. He simply acted. The transition protocol, the document that changes everything. Here is the detail that reframes the entire story. Sources with knowledge of discussions inside Kensington Palace have indicated that what happened at that reception was not improvised. It was the visible expression of a plan William has been developing, in private and with a small number of trusted advisors, for over a year. Those with knowledge of its broad parameters have referred to it informally as the transition protocol, a structured framework for how the monarchy will be organized, communicated, and positioned under William's leadership. According to a source cited by Radar Online with knowledge of the document's scope, the protocol addresses institutional communication, the working royal structure, and the relationship between the core family and the extended connections that formed around Charles's personal life. Camilla retains her title. Her role in formal occasions is respected, but the access, the proximity, and the informal influence that her children had accumulated during Charles's reign, that, sources say, is treated in the protocol as something to be managed rather than continued. The detail that has unsettled those closest to Camilla most deeply is not the protocol itself. It is who approved it. According to sources with knowledge of conversations between Charles and William in late 2025, King Charles was briefed on the broad direction of William's planning. He did not challenge it. By some accounts, he gave it his quiet endorsement. One source described Charles' position with a particular precision. He knows his son, he trusts his son, and he knows the institution needs what William is preparing to give it. The transition is not coming. It has already begun. What this means for the future of the monarchy. William's first appearance as king was not a ceremony. It was a blueprint. He has communicated, through action rather than statement, what the institution will look like under his leadership. Tighter, more deliberate, and organized around a core that does not include the personal connections that accumulated around Charles's life. What remains unresolved is what Camilla does next. She holds her title. She maintains her standing. But the ground beneath that standing has shifted in a way that cannot be undone by a single appearance or a carefully worded communication. Sources describe her as focused on maintaining her dignity and her formal role without escalating a conflict that has not, in any official sense, been declared. Whether that equilibrium holds, whether the pressure inside the palace eventually finds a surface, is a question no insider is willing to answer. What is already clear is this. William did not come to this moment waiting for permission. He came with a plan. By the time the world noticed what was happening, the decisions had already been made. What do you think? Was William right to establish the terms of his reign from his very first appearance, or should he have moved more carefully in respect of what Charles and Camilla built together? What does the absence of Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes signal about the role of step-family in the monarchy going forward? And if Charles truly approved the transition protocol, does that change how you see Camilla's position in the years ahead? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found this breakdown useful, please leave a like and subscribe for more royal deep dives. And check out our next video, where we go inside the decisions William has already made about the slimmed-down monarchy and who exactly makes the cut.